We the people unite.
Hey everybody, welcome to
Hi.
Say
How
hi.
you doing? How you doing, Wonderland?
Welcome to another episode. I think we're on episode
and it came
25 or
in on
something.
time.
Woo, yeah. So what's our theme for the day, everybody?
No
more
lies.
Don't be motherfucking lying.
Don't lie. Come on, August. We wish.
We wish.
We
wish.
Liar,
We
pants on
wish.
fire.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's the case. The fire department would be at the White House every day.
Every day.
24/7.
Yeah. Or everybody be sprouting a Pinocchio nose, right?
Do you think? Can we impeach him?
If only.
That was a dream.
It won't go past Congress, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No.
That was a joke.
Oh, I know you. This is probably something you haven't heard about at all. Something called the Epstein files.
Hi,
Lindy. Oh,
Hi. No, nobody heard about the Epstein files, right?
No, what's that?
Well, let's talk
Nothing to
about.
look at there. Come on.
Yeah, we want to highlight in this show today as we go through a few different topics, the flat out lies, right? And what is the truth? What is the truth? So in this first clip, I'm going to go through 3 segments of it, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay? All right. Well, let's go.
Let this go away, and he's directing some of his team behind closed doors to do what they can to help it die down. That's why we actually saw the president directly making calls this weekend. We know he reached out to Charlie Kirk, a fierce supporter of his, the head of the Turning Point USA, and they held a summit this weekend. He had tried to convince him to knock off with the criticism, tamp down some of the criticism of the handling of this Epstein case. And we actually saw Kirk yesterday say that for now he is not going to comment further on all of this. And we also know that the vice president, J.D. Vance, he was trying to play peacemaker with people within the administration where there's been infighting on this between the FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. He also called Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, and Attorney General Pam Bondi were reporting. But just
Okay, so he's making the calls, right?
mm-hmm.
So let's
That
hear
J.D. Vance, he's always right on it.
I know. Let's hear what he actually had to say.
On Epstein, of the review of the files, Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing. Yeah.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
Let's hear from one more. Let's go all the way to
as Deputy FBI Director, but there was something that President Trump said this afternoon that I found interesting, and I wanted to get your thoughts on, because he suggested that in a White House briefing in which he was presented evidence regarding the Epstein files, he found whatever was in the briefing to not be credible, and he charged that James Comey, among others, had something to do with that information not being credible, insinuating perhaps that it was tampered with, that they made up these files. You took over as acting FBI director when Trump fired Comey back in May of 2017. It wasn't until summer of 2019 that Jeffrey Epstein was even arrested. So I wonder if at any point while you were serving in the Bureau, whether as deputy or as acting director, you came across any information at all related to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, short answer, Boris, is none. Not in any way. And there's
when you understand the timeline, it makes perfect sense, right? Epstein's initial investigation by local authorities and the FBI in southern Florida ended with an indictment in 2008, I believe, if I have that year correct. And that was the indictment that was mysteriously, essentially given away by then U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, who then later served in Trump's first term as his Secretary of Labor. So Mr. Acosta basically washed the case away with what we call a non-prosecution agreement, in which Epstein was able to plead guilty to 2 very minor local offenses and serve a pretty relaxed form of incarceration for 18 months. There was no activity, investigative activity, on Epstein until 2019, as you indicated, when the Southern District of New York opened the investigation that ultimately landed him in jail and where he killed himself. So Jim Comey was not in the FBI when the early investigation was tanked by Alex Acosta, or the later one was started by Jeffrey Berman, who was the attorney, the U.S. attorney in the Southern District at the time. So that allegation is absolutely preposterous. That's standard Donald Trump, whenever he's in trouble, to start to throw rocks at Jim Comey, Barack Obama, myself, our former colleagues. We just expect that now and disregard it anytime we hear.
Yep. Yep. So side by side, right? We see the lies, we see the truth. I wonder if anybody's actually looking at the math, right? Looking at the dates. Anybody?
That press secretary, I mean, that holy roller, she should be blowing up, bursting into flames, standing next to Donald Trump when he's telling all those lies, especially on the Epstein stuff.
Did you say holy roller? I love it.
Yeah. I mean, she standing there in her red dress with that smirk on her face, or green dress, that smirk on her face with the fire truck in the background. She should be just bursting into flames.
Any more thoughts? I know
Maybe
we've heard
that's
a
why
lot
the
about
fire
this.
truck was in the background just in case.
Yeah.
You know, your mother say if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
I better get off the show, though.
Well, I'm about to be saying.
That's how I feel about her. I'm like, I ain't nothing.
She doesn't say anything though, does she?
No, she doesn't. And I don't
Yeah.
have nothing good to say about her.
Yeah.
She's horrible. That's all I'll say. That was me saying being nice.
Mhm.
But
That
we
was
see a
very
pattern,
painful.
right?
Yes.
I mean, every time the walls come closing in, he blames Comey, Obama, or Biden, or,
Mhm.
he blames everybody else.
Anybody but him.
Right.
And using the word credible, like Epstein went to jail. The woman who was helping him, she's incarcerated. So obviously there's some credibility in those files. And he needs to release it. That's what he promised. And I think, honestly, like the Democrats are people who see Trump's lies, see him as a grifter, know that he's just a vile human being. It's not up to us. It's up to MAGA to like hold him accountable and not believe in the propaganda and maybe start to see maybe it's a little cracks happening. I think this whole thing is ridiculous, but I hope that it brings him down. But again, I'm not. I don't know if it will
I'm gonna
because he's got.
piggyback off you when you're done, Marley, for sure.
Oh yeah, because Congress doesn't hold them. They're all like in it together, and it's really disgusting. It's really disgusting.
No, I think that what you said, it's not for us, and that's the thing. Like all this nonsense, all this just continuous bullshit that they pump from every direction off of everything. Of course, we don't believe it because we know, but they eat it up. Like that's their diet, you know what I mean? And so it's not for our eyes anyway. And so that's where the problem lies, lies. I didn't mean to say that.
I think everyone has a straw that's going to break the MAGA back. And I think a lot of this the straws are finally starting to pile up. I think between the changes in the Medicare and the veterans benefits and all this other nonsense, they are starting to feel it. They're starting to feel it at the grocery store. I heard today prices are up another 10%. since he's taken office. And I think it's piling up and piling up and piling up. And, you're talking about sex trafficking underage kids. This is about children now. And I think, even MAGA has a line, and they're not all that stupid. They may be blind or trusting him, following him with blind faith. But it gets to the point where, for whatever reason, they want this. And now Trump is lashing out at them. I don't know if you saw the latest where he said he doesn't even want their support anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't
He's
need
digging in, isn't he?
So
Well, it used to be a time that being president, was held at a high esteem, and then I just knew when he ran for president and that Access Hollywood video came out, and he said he just walk up to him and grab him, and then he kissed him, and I'm like, ugh. And I just knew his career as the president of the United States was over then, and I just didn't get it from that point on.
But to Marley's point, I don't think it's going to bring him down. I don't
either.
think.
That's why I said that.
I think the only thing that's going to bring him down is a natural.
Like he said, he quits. He could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue,
right, and get away with it. And he's proven all that right. He's got. I mean, we seem to forget it was not that long ago where he was facing jail time, where he was facing all those cases, and poof, they all go away. And that's brings me back to another step. What happened to the stuff in Georgia? That was a state-run case.
Oh, yeah, he turned it on the attorney.
That shouldn't have gone away. I mean,
I don't think just because she was dating him, it had anything to do with what he had done.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how he wanted it to go away.
And it went away.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think this is going to take him down, but I have been fascinated by how much staying power this story has, because so much of what he's involved in disappears within 24 hours because they push out more bullshit. So this has been, this is just fascinating.
Well, that's why I told Don, I said, the only thing I can come up with is they was at the parties with him. And he knows something on all of them. Everybody that tries to put him under, he finds out, he makes it his business to find out something about them, and they shut up. They all get in line. That knees must be wobbly going down.
Well, not all of them. Not all of them he has something on, but what he does do is threaten them with his goons to come and, beat them up type stuff. That's what he do. Not all of them.
He threatens them with
he threatens them.
He threatens them. Another thing he threatens them with is like, oh, I'm gonna make sure that nobody ever votes for you again. Like your seat in power. That's really what really makes these people
he has to have
by losing
their
place in office and stuff like that, and their money and all that.
He have to have something on him to make those kind of comments that you could just say something about Andrea that is just so far-fetched and people believe it.
I don't think it's that deep.
I think the Stormy Daniels from the island is going to eventually come forward because she would be what now? If just say she was 16, how old would she be now? I mean, 56?
A lot of those
46
women have come forward.
Right.
They have.
You can.
Yeah,
yes, there's a documentary on it. You can
and
watch
have
it.
they said that Donald was there?
In some cases,
And Prince, that Prince.
yes. But we also have to remember that there are a lot of donors that have big money that could potentially have been involved. We don't know.
And I'm sure people in Congress too been involved, politicians,
and again,
judges.
On Access Hollywood, he admitted it. He really admitted it. So I just walk up to him and grab him. I just go in a dressing room at a mall and just walk in and take advantage of E.G. King or whatever her name is.
Carol.
And nothing happens. I mean, that's what I'm not understanding. Nothing happens.
I know this might be different based on some of the next clips, right?
Was they 12 and below?
I think it's going to be different because he's turning on MAGA.
Correct.
He's insulting them. So I think this is going to stick longer than previous incidents.
Well, with all the hoax and the they preached about that pizza parlor in DC. Hillary Clinton had all these pedophiles in the basement, and the restaurant didn't even have a basement. So,
Right.
you know, it's
Right.
like, it's just crazy nonsense. And now there's actual some fact to this. So,
and that could be part of it too, that what
Yeah.
they've been spewing this whole time is not what they found in the files. It wasn't all these Democrats, right?
right.
There might have been a few in there. We
I'm,
didn't, you know,
I'm sure
we
there
don't-
were. I'm sure there's a lot
but
of
it
powerful
wasn't
people in there.
to the level that they thought. But have you guys seen some of the reactions from MAGA? Let's watch a couple clips.
Gonna play with these anymore. MAGA hats are off. America First hats are on. Burn, baby, burn.
Burning down.
Burn.
Burn his wig.
And this is a great representation of what's left of MAGA.
Looks like a nice.
There's
new
another
visor.
one. Here's one with some commentary here.
MAGA hats are off.
Yeah, we saw that one. This one was interesting. We saw that. Oh, here we go.
I've never
They
even
picked
seen that hat.
some good music to go with it, you know?
Yeah. It's soothing. It's nice. I need to get me one just to do that.
Don't give him any money. Yeah, don't give him any money.
Trying to tell me there's no Epstein list? Do you think I'm stupid?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Watch. Wait.
Yes.
We can't hear.
That was good.
No, do we have any kind of proof that those are really MAGA people doing
I
that?
was just going to say, we have zero proof that those were actually MAGA burning their hats. We don't know. So we are going to put that disclaimer out there.
Well,
But it's still
then
funny.
we need to get our hats and start burning them. It's not
It's
worth
still
the
funny.
money.
I like how it turns into a little cute little visor when it's all burnt up.
So we're going to hear more from these two in a minute, but I just want to play this short clip by what they say about this.
And are conflating the First Amendment with anonymity is one of the most damaging things in our society.
That's another.
Democrats have to put away this bullshit purity test on everything. People are human. And if someone ended up on a plane going to an island, a party, and there's no evidence that they engaged in anything, then it's like, okay, forgive them. Yeah, they had poor judgment. They didn't. But for God's sakes, release the list and Governor Graback. Everything that happens at a level of governor or senate.
What do you think is embarrassing? What do you think's in there? What's intimate embarrassing?
They're probably saying, give me money and
Trump
I'll make
fucking
sure.
sucks. Yeah. That's more than embarrassing. They're saying intimate and it was a weird choice of words, right? Intimate and embarrassing.
The Nixon
His
tapes
bra size?
The
I don't
Nixon
know.
tapes eventually got released.
Yeah, everything should get released. I agree. I think everything should get released. I think it creates
Unless
a lot.
it's people should be able. You said something I always thought was really powerful. People should be able to have secrets, and that is if it's just people's private lives. Okay, I don't think people have a right to publish everything. I do believe in privacy. I do believe that people should be able to have secrets. But when it comes to national security, government regulation, conversations among our elected representatives, I believe that for defense reasons, you can say it needs to be sealed for a certain amount of time. But eventually, be clear, folks, it's all going to come out. And what's going to happen to their behavior? It's going to improve.
Well, it's interesting. I'm seeing online a lot of people when these ICE people go in now.
Yeah.
Not when it comes to pedophilia. I'm sorry. That's the line.
I would agree.
He was at the party too. Didn't it sound like it?
No, I mean,
I have my privacy.
What he was, if you watch the whole interview, what he's
Mhm.
saying was people who get invited to these things don't know or necessarily know what's going on in them. It's kind of his thing. But once you know what's going on, and it's actually hebephilia. Hebephilia is pubescent to prepubescent to just past pubescent.
You're just too smart for this
Kind of
panel.
mix.
Wait, tell us again.
Pedophilia
I
versus
didn't get that.
hebephilia. Well, because when pedophilia, we think, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, right?
Mhm.
We think young. Hebephilia is these minors, but still not, children, young children. I'm not saying that's better.
It's still
Full
right.
disclosure. Full disclosure. I've experienced both personally.
Wow.
So I'm very connected to what's happening here.
These people know they're going to Epstein's house, and he has a reputation, and he had one then, just like restaurants that black people can't go to. They put doors up. You don't even know it's a restaurant.
After 2008, yes, they should have known. No one should have been going to this island after that, not knowing, right, what happened. So I think it's important to keep this. I know people get tired of hearing the same old story, but I think this is one that's important for us to keep out there, to keep pushing for the release of these files, because the truth is important. We need the truth, but also it's for the victims here.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
We
women.
gotta yeah.
I agree.
Why do you think MAGA is pushing back so hard this time? And even some Republicans in the House and in the Senate aren't letting it go either. And they are standing up against even Johnson in his wimpy, pussy ass way. That's the word you weren't saying before, by the way, Andrea. In his, he even went up against Trump saying, that these people should be taken to charges, but our president would never be involved in that, whatever he did. But I mean, what is it? What's there? I
think one of the reasons is, James, what you said earlier is they don't see prices going down. They don't see prices going down. They're not doing better. They want to take away benefits from Medicaid, Medicare. They're closing the hospitals. They don't have no food in food pantries. I could just keep going on. And, they took away the high-speed internet from areas that didn't have it before, and Biden put it in, and he want to wipe it out, and no infrastructure packages. That was all taken away. It's a whole bunch of reasons why they tired of him.
Well, that's the MAGA people in the world. But what about the people in the government who voted for the big beautiful bill, who are perfectly fine and dancing and cheering that stuff was all going on?
I still say that they know something, and I say they was at the party.
All of them?
Yes, all of them, because a lot of men, have.
I think a lot of them do.
I think a lot of these men knew about it. It was involved with it, and just like what's his name in Florida, Matt Gaetz, and he underage people. I think a lot of them were involved.
No, I can see that, but I'm asking the question on the flip side. Those people in government are wanting the files opened. Some of them. Those are the ones I'm asking. Why now?
You might have had 3 that didn't go. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
3 of them might not have went. 3.
My only thing is, I think the silver lining and kind of like the little balance here. Okay, if they don't release the files, that's going to upset people even more. And if they do, there's going to be something upsetting about it. So damned if they do, damned if they don't. So that's the only reason why I think this should stay at the forefront, or at least stay very much so something that is always brought up. Because either way, they're going to have to keep dancing around this, because either release them because everything's all good, or don't. Or you know what I mean? It's just gonna keep going around in that circle if we keep
the Democrats finally found something to talk about.
So MAGA was convinced. The MAGA was convinced that they were all Democrats. That were
I know, and they don't believe
all
that
Democrats
anymore.
On this
right. And MAGA and the Democrats had these files. So people in the Democratic Party also know exactly what's in those files and haven't disclosed it. Why?
Some
Because
of
they was
them.
probably there too. Shit. I
Some
don't
of
know.
them, not all of them.
Not
No.
all of the Democrats know.
I
Some
also
of them
think
know.
I also think it's important because it's something that we can all agree on.
Correct.
Democrats, Republicans, MAGA, that this is messed up and it needs to be released. So, yeah, I think journalists need to keep hounding it. They need to start investigating it and just hold his feet to the fire.
And I would think, what's her face, Giselle Maxwell or whatever her name is, if I got that right. Why isn't she ranting and raving and screaming, saying, if there's no list, where is the proof and why am I here in jail?
I think she is. They're
I know
appealing
she's
now.
appealing. Yeah.
Yeah, to the Supreme Court.
She was the one that would go to these different countries and pick the kids up and take them. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, she knows where all the bodies are.
Yeah,
because that was her man.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even tell nobody that was my man.
That was another sick relationship when you think
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And then Clinton went to the party. He's been knowing. Now, that's why maybe Trump's saying the Democrats, because Clinton went to the parties too.
No,
He
he's
knows
saying
because
the
he was
Democrats
there.
just for the hell of it.
What you say, August?
He's saying that just for the hell of it, whether Clinton was there and anyone else, he's always going to blame the Democrats to take the heat off of him.
Maureen, what you think?
I think it's a true mess, but I think we need to know. I want to see those papers released. And I think the president's right at the top of it. There's no doubt, in my mind, okay?
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, for sure, but come on.
Just look at his past, how he acted.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, but we all kind of know that. So if it is released, is there going to really be any shock and awe?
Not to me,
that's what
but
my question is.
And I just, what were some of the other things that, like the Mueller report, for God's sakes, that was
Oh,
so
my
redacted
goodness.
and so watered down, it was a joke. And
I could have beat Comey up when he came out on that stage like about 9 days before the election.
yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, I want to beat you up right now.
yeah, and all that stuff. I mean, a lot of these things turn into nothing burgers, as were, even the January 6th committee. I mean,
Wasn't that that was a stroll in the park, wasn't it?
well, no, a lot of great stuff came out of that, but nothing.
Didn't happen.
I watched that whole thing, and
But it just got swept.
oh yeah,
under
they're
the
gonna
rug.
arrest him today. I just knew it, man.
Nothing touches him.
Teflon Don.
Make money now, that's funny.
Wait, Keisha, that's what your next topic should be on, Teflon Don, because we don't understand it either.
Well, I may be totally wrong about this. That's okay, but Kim, I still think if we had a deep throat like the Watergate, I mean that's a whole different subject matter. But that's what I think it would take.
Deep throat, I was thinking something else.
Maybe we should change the dude's name now.
Okay.
Maybe he was the deep throat. Maybe that's what's in the files.
Okay.
All right.
Low, deep throat.
Well, with that.
My little 7-year-old nephew just came into the kitchen. So,
yeah, basically what we want are no more lies on this. We want the truth. We want the truth. So let's shift gears to another topic on truth and lies. And let's start with Keisha shared. This seems to be a commercial that our tax dollars have gone to create.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border, for deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting America first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you and we will deport you. You
Yeah,
will
I've
never
seen this.
return. For too long, weak politicians left our borders wide open. They flooded our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. They put American lives at risk. Well, those days are over. If you leave now, you may have an opportunity to return and enjoy our freedom and live the American dream. But understand this. Under President Trump, America's borders are closed to lawbreakers. Follow the law and you'll find opportunity. Break it and you'll find consequences. The choice is yours. America welcomes those who respect our laws because a strong nation is a safe nation.
Oh, shut
Brother, what the fuck is that shit?
She's
Yeah.
an
I mean,
immigrant.
isn't shooting a puppy to death child animal abuse, and isn't that a
Yeah.
crime?
Yeah.
Had
Who
y'all
could
seen this
do that?
before?
Ugh.
Animal
No.
abuse.
Had y'all seen this before?
Yeah, I
No.
have.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, several
Yes,
times.
it's been playing.
Unfortunately, Keisha.
Yeah.
Yeah, they run it all the
But go ahead, Keisha.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just, should I say how much they spent on this?
Yes.
So I was listening to the wonderful Heather Cox Richardson, and she said that they spent $200 million on an ad campaign for this nonsense.
Mhm.
$200 million of our taxpayer money on
Mhm.
this ad campaign where she's kissing Trump's ass.
Well, that's what I said. He's using our money like it's his personal checking account.
Yeah.
He's
Money
not
that's
saving
already
it,
been
he's spending it.
allocated.
And also like that was like a regular ass ad. Why was that so
Yeah,
expensive?
200 million.
Well,
I
they
guess the buying the airtime.
Shit, I could have made that on my free Canva free.
The airtime, and they paid a consulting firm to research it and produce it. That's why she's running through so much money with the DHS, because they're spending the money on ridiculous
Yeah,
nonsense.
and that's why I wanted you to look at that video I sent you and played it. But
And that's why they've spent more in this bill, right? Towards
Well, it's really crazy
ICE.
because some of his ideas we can all get behind as a nation, we're Democrat or Republican. Everybody wants the criminals off the street. Everybody wants the drugs curbed back. But the way they're doing it is absolutely ridiculous. How they're
that's not what he
spending
really
money.
wanted. He really wanted control because he's not taking all the criminals off the street. He's taking anybody he don't like off the street.
Right.
Taking gardeners, people who work at car washes, people who work.
Well, that's my point.
Construction workers.
And the criminals continue to do their dirt. So what kind of cleanup is really happening?
Mm-hmm.
Taking brown people.
Well, that's exactly my point. If he really were just focusing on the criminals, then I could get behind it. But not this. I mean, you can't get behind what they're doing. You can't. Even tax cuts. I could get behind tax cuts, but not at the expense of Medicare and the other stuff.
SNAP.
And SNAP and all of that. I mean, everybody here who has a job or is working, we will benefit from the tax cuts at some way.
See, but I still feel
at a certain salary level
that the rich need to pay their fair share too. I don't understand that the country and 50% of the country, the 50% of the lower income are paying the majority of the taxes. I don't get it.
They shouldn't have to be paying taxes.
And that will be the same. But I don't know what the code is.
And in
But I
a
was.
country that is so rich that we deny people food, we need to give. We are so far down on the list as far as education in the world that they should give free college to everybody here and tutoring too. That people that
Andrea,
don't.
what a socialist thing to say! How dare you?
I know. Get college. How about quality elementary school and junior high school and high school?
All of it. You want smart people, you got to educate them.
Oh yeah.
They don't want smart people.
I mean, I hear that.
He's
destroying. You know what I think should get deported and be illegal is that ad in Christie. That can go.
That's right.
All right. So
return.
let's. I wanted to show that as a segue into this segment when we're talking about the truth and the lies of all this. So let's go back to how this all started, right? With the alien Enemies Act. And these are the times that it's been enacted, right? The last time was post 9/11. And we all remember in World War II, horrible things happened then as well. But now he invokes it because he says this Venezuelan gang has come over. All these gang members and all these criminals have come in. Let's take a look at when he signed the executive order, right? So he did that in January. What this act does, it expands it and expedites a removal and deportation without due process, right? It authorizes these mass raids across workplaces, homes, sensitive locations, churches, hospitals recently. It deputizes, in this case, what do we know, or what do we think we know, that these J6 people that were pardoned are part of this? And it enables indefinite detention of undocumented individuals. The problem is this is all based on false narrative. This is all based on a lot of lies. We are not invaded. We are not being invaded. There is no invasion. He should never have been able to invoke this in the first place. So this is part of the problem.
And like they say, they pay immigrants pay more in taxes than U.S. citizens do.
Right. So
And
they
don't
talk a
benefit
good
from
game.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you said, they talk a good.
I have a young woman I work with who's DACA, and she just had to renew her papers, and she was scared to go to the courthouse. And it was fine. She went. She had to pay $500 and something, and she pays her taxes, and she works and whatever. And she's frustrated. She is Mexican descent, and she went about 2 weeks ago. And yesterday and today, ICE was at the courthouse in Chesterfield and Richmond and the counties around here. And God forbid they would have taken her. I would have gone and done something myself. I mean, it was like, seriously, it's just messed up.
Well,
but they pay.
They're going to go after these gangs.
They pay their taxes, and they say, "Oh, come in and do it the right way." And then when they do it the right way, and they're going in and pay this money to stay here under the DACA bill, then what happens? And they're scooping them up and shipping them away.
Please, for the love of God, people need to stop doing that. Just stop. Just don't go.
Now with 34 felonies. See, that's why he say we stupid. First of all, for not having in the Constitution that if you're a felon, that you cannot be president. Now, whoever comes in next, that should be the first thing they ratify.
Right. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I also want to take you back to when Trump said, if y'all remember this, right? The farmers were complaining. People were complaining in hospitality. Wait, you can't deport these people, right? You can't. So let's listen to a little bit.
Later in the day, Donald Trump said this.
Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else.
God.
So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels.
Of course.
We can't do that to our farmers. He was doing it to the farmers. So Donald Trump, just learned that today. What everyone has been saying for years and years and years in defense of those people who Donald Trump was calling murderers and rapists. Everything we've been saying, I guess, has finally sunk in with Donald Trump, the slowest and stupidest president in history.
But
all right.
Okay, that was like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, a month ago. Okay,
a while
this
ago.
has been the last day.
Forms today, many who witnessed these confrontations left feeling rattled.
Let me tell you, I'm scared, even though that I'm a citizen and everything, but still, I'm scared, really scared.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Federal agents raided 2 farms in California today, clashing with protesters who showed up at both of those scenes. In the end, 4 protesters were injured during those confrontations. Some protesters refused to leave as federal agents deployed tear gas outside of one farm in Santa Barbara County this afternoon. Just minutes after that, agents got back into a military vehicle and they drove away. People who run that farm say it's unclear exactly how many workers were detained today.
Yeah, so it's still happening.
When did that take place, Kim?
That was a couple days ago, I believe.
And last week they did San Diego. That one I told you.
They've been hitting farms every day, I think.
And at least the KKK would take their mask off or lay off now.
Yeah.
Why aren't they hitting construction sites where Donald's invested? Why aren't they hitting Mar-a-Lago and all the and the dishwashers at all the golf clubs and all of that? You tell me that they're all documented? Bullshit.
Most stupid. Me stupid too with the right now.
So not to make this a Heather Cox Richardson fan show, but her episodes are good.
I just watched her today.
So the July 14th, I listened to her on a podcast. The July 14th thing that she wrote is all about immigration and the history of immigration, and it's fantastic. And she talks about how in the mid 1900s, so long ago,
she's a history professor, so yeah.
Yeah, they had this program to bring in workers from Mexico legally, and then because of racism, they deported a lot of them. And then, of course, we needed workers, so they tried to get high school students to fill the gap, but it didn't work. And so this is partly why we're in the mess that we're in now. And they're just recreating the same problem. We're going to have the same fucking problem. There's not going to be anyone to do the work.
Home builders, electricians.
Well, he said he wants people on Medicaid, right?
Yeah, he did. He said that. He got up and opened his mouth and said, "You get hungry enough, you'll pick that fruit."
Yeah. What I don't understand is, how is it not illegal for people the farmers to be hiring people without documentation? Or
because
like,
he said
why
they're
is
his
it
owners now? They're his owners. He the owner. It's okay.
Yeah, but how are business owners and people who have housekeepers and gardeners and they don't have documentation? Why is it legal for them to do it, but it's illegal for people to take those jobs that they're paying them to do?
Who is?
You know what I mean? That's like if I hire somebody illegal. It's legal for me to do that, but illegal for the. Am I not making sense? Like, I don't understand that.
Well, you're making perfect sense. It is illegal to hire undocumented workers.
Did y'all see?
Well, then why aren't they?
But
why
they've
aren't
been
they
doing it forever because they
Yeah,
need
but
workers, right? And so this has been the system that they're caught up in. Heather Cox Richardson talks about that too. How this is a system that we've created, Congress.
Right. Yeah.
That has not fixed it, Congress.
Right.
And these poor people are caught up in it.
And
so this is something that has been going on for decades. And
I know, but it's not right.
Of course not.
And it
Yeah.
really pisses me off when I see them in cages.
Who
Like,
was
I don't understand how anybody can treat another human being like that. And it's all like
yeah,
people who
that's
are
what I'm looking
brown
at.
and now Haitians coming in.
Yeah. Well,
I
it
don't know.
all goes back to racism, right? So let's see. I want to hear a little bit. Want us to hear a little bit back to the pivot, because I thought what they had to say was really interesting on this topic of ICE and the mask and all that.
Dangerous.
So
And
while
what
you
are, and you
pulling
brought
that
this
real
up.
quick,
What do,
Kim, I just want to say this show is not for individuals that have negativity. Black Rig, find yourself somewhere else, all right?
I know. Did you see all those other
But
chats?
it's
Like,
okay.
what?
We're going to move forward, but I'm just letting you know those comments are not welcome here. Thank you,
And we
Kim.
have
Please go
trolls.
forward.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
And you know, we roll on trolls. So I'm just
Yeah.
calling them out because he might be the biggest pedophile of all.
That's right.
So
Yeah, but
let's
it
go,
doesn't
Kim.
really matter because we have the IP scanner, so we know where the address. It's just after
We
the show, we'll
do,
find
but
out exactly what computer
Absolutely.
it came from,
Absolutely.
and these
Yeah.
folks will be taking
absolutely.
tests. So don't worry about it. Move on.
Well,
All
I
right.
just happened to
Thank
notice
you,
it looking at
August.
my
No
telephone.
problem. Go ahead, Kim.
All right.
the KKK and ICE have in common?
Let's go back
This
to the beginning.
fidelity, this passion, this irreverence for anonymity, I think has become dangerous. And and you brought this up, what do stormtroopers, the KKK, and ICE have in common? Or people on campus not allowing Jews into certain parts of UCLA public spaces? They're all wearing fucking masks. And what I see online is this ridiculous fidelity to anonymity has resulted in troll farms that are tearing society apart or letting people behave in a way they would never behave in person.
Right. But
And the
now they're doing
notion,
it in person. I mean, those ICE people should not. I'm sorry if their jobs are hard. They picked a job. This is the life they've chosen.
well,
They
what
should
has
wear.
been the most accretive, positive thing among law enforcement in America? I would argue that it is the following: body cams. If you're a cop and you run up against somebody who's mentally ill and treating you like shit, I can't imagine how tempting it is to just punch them in the fucking face and put cuffs on them. I can empathize with that.
Yep.
But because they have a body cam on them and their badge number and their identification on their vest, they behave in a manner that is incredibly honorable and shows fidelity to the law.
And some of them
They,
still don't, even despite the body cams.
I think our men and women in blue are, given the situations they are thrust into every day, remarkable and show a lot more patience than your average citizen. That was a reversal in anonymity. They not only don't have masks, it's like if you're a cop and you're going to use the full weight of the federal government and laws where you can deploy lethal power and incarceration against citizens, then we need to know exactly who the fuck you are and record it in 4D color.
Bingo. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. We need to get the mask off these ICE people. Period.
Are they really ICE or not?
I don't believe
We don't
so.
know.
We don't know.
I don't believe so. Now,
I don't think
usually,
so.
and I really want to comment on this. Now, usually, whenever you're undercover or a detective or so, what happens is, like certain sting operations, they will go in. Have to be careful. They will go in, and yes, they'll do their face covered to ensure that they're able to perform their duties, because when you work in the area and live in the area, a lot of people know you. Okay, that's why the police would normally put on a mask. However, these individuals are putting on a mask because they don't want anyone to know who they are, because they're not really cops, and that's why they can't flash a badge. Now, Christy Nome have a couple of cops that's working overtime doing this as well to kind of make it seem legitimate, but it's not.
My father was a police officer, and local police aren't supposed to be involved with ICE at all. So I'm not quite sure how they're deputizing police officers, Because as far as I know, that's not legal.
But
Is it?
detectives can. Marley.
No.
Detectives can.
My only thing is like, well, first of all, I was just discussing this on Monday with, Keisha and Jackson and Katie about how a lot of these ICE people are quitting because people are starting to, follow them home with drones and find out where they live and, or literally, like physically attacking them, and things like that, like pulling guns out on them and things like that. If anything, if you're gonna get into a tussle like that, I think people need to start. If you're gonna be getting tussled and getting your ass whooped, maybe try to pull off their mask real quick. Pull off their goggles. If you can get their face, somebody's probably recording. If you can get their face for a moment, that will help. Since
That's
you
what
get
they try to do with
you're in
Batman.
the tussle anyway, reach up and pull down one of their face masks. Go ahead, do it. You're already getting your ass whooped anyway. Who's to say it wasn't you just reaching for something,
Well, I know here in California, they're trying to make it against the law for them to be in California masked. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Every state needs to be doing that.
So it needs to be actually like enforced,
Well, if there's a law, then the police can enforce it.
Yeah, if the police decide to. It's just gets so messy now. The police seem to still be, at least so far in LA, still seem to be pretty okay, from what I understand. But I don't know. It's just these people are so emboldened that you just don't really know anymore. Look what happened in Minnesota. That wasn't even a real police officer. He straight up dressed up. So we got to be careful about who we're putting our safety into the hands of.
Yeah.
Be very aware of your surroundings.
I feel like it's going to get worse because August 1st, isn't he going to start doing something with the Haitians? Start deporting them?
Oh, he could try that shit again if he wants to.
I hope the Haitians rise up together and fucking, I don't know.
They already did. That shit did not work.
Well,
Those are the last people I would try to fuck with.
Didn't he pulled their emergency because they came here because there's an what's going on in Haiti. I think he pulled that and basically told them they need to leave because August 1st, they're going to start going after them. They'll be here
bet you if you
illegally.
ask any one of them Haitian people, they'd be like, you can go ahead and pull whatever the fuck you want. Bring that shit over here.
Trump said he was removing 2,000 of the armed forces from LA.
Yeah. Yep. Heard that today just before we got on. So that might be a good topic for Friday.
I don't believe nothing he say.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna send more of them goons out there. They ought to just beat all of them up.
Yeah,
that's kind of what happened. I don't know if you guys heard about.
You know what? Shoot them with the spray paint pistols where you can know who they are because the paint.
Oh yeah,
it's not bad. That's not like a paint
like
gun.
Paintball.
Yeah, that's what they should do.
I mean, look what happened in LA. One of the mayors, there's so many counties out there. I haven't even been to even a little pinch of like that whole area. But one of the mayors, I don't know their name and I don't know where, but I read something or saw something where they encouraged like the gangs in LA to, protect their communities and stuff like that. That hasn't happened since the Rodney King, riots and stuff. So that's some serious shit.
Well, I wanted to give a shout out to Wes Moore in Maryland because his state has really reduced crime, and the mayor of Baltimore they're doing a wonderful job with reducing crime and helping people that need jobs and helping the youth. And it's a certain they finally got it down to a specific group of people that's been committing all the crimes. And I think if we tried, that policy like they did, working with the people, be a foot on the ground, we could help do that too. But again, one of the biggest criminals we need to get rid of first is Donald Trump.
Yep. And to start that, we need more Republicans to help with us to join We the People Unite against all of this that's happening, all of this lawlessness. And there are a few. So this next clip is a little bit longer, but I think it's important for us to listen to what she has to say, but even more important, I think, for her fellow Republicans and MAGA to hear what she has to say.
Years ago, I was a lifelong, born and bred Republican. I didn't believe fact checkers. I thought they were all biased and stuff. Well, one day, somebody on my Facebook page made a post, and I don't even remember what it was, but I was sure they were wrong because it went against everything I was told as a Republican. Excuse me. And so I was going to prove them wrong, but I wanted to know exactly what I was talking about, so I did the research, and I found out I was wrong. So I started thinking maybe I'm wrong about other things. I don't know. So I started researching other political topics, and I found out sometimes, or a lot of times, there's articles that support both sides. So which one's telling the truth, right? So I didn't believe fact-checking, non-biased fact checkers. I didn't believe they were non-biased. I thought they were all lying. So I took a fact-checking tutorial myself, and I started fact-checking a lot of things. And you know what I found out? I found out that while both sides may lie some, Republicans lie a whole lot more and a whole lot bigger, like way bigger, crazy stuff. So that's what I found out. Now, Democrats sometimes may not always be truthful, but most of the time it's just like an exaggeration, or they could even be off on numbers. Seriously, they don't lie as much, and they don't lie as big at all. And I also found out that, one of the biggest things for me was finding out that there was welfare for the rich. I was raised to believe, we shouldn't be funding these poor people, I found out we're giving billionaires money. That's crazy. We're giving billionaires money in handouts in the form of subsidies and tax breaks. And sometimes like Warren Buffett came out and said that one time, he paid less in taxes than his secretary. That's crazy, y'all.
At least you start reading.
And yeah, that was one of the big things to me that took me from being a Republican to a Democrat. Not saying they don't cater some to billionaires, but nothing like freaking Republicans do. Nothing like Republicans do. And then abortion was hard for me, though, because, I was all pro-life and everything. But I did two things, and it really changed my mindset on abortion. So one of the things I did is I looked up what happens in countries that outlaw abortion. Well, guess what? It's not pretty at all. You're talking about overrun state orphanages, and you're talking about a lot of misery. And it doesn't even stop abortion. It just stops safe abortion. And then the other thing I did is I looked up, reasons that people get abortions. And I read a lot of their stories, and there was a lot of stories that I don't know what I would do if I was in their place. Luckily, I've never been in their situations. And then that's when I decided it was none of my business what somebody else does with their body.
Yep.
So those were the two biggest things for me. There's a lot bigger now. I understand now, I was taught from a young age, you just got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Yeah, well, bootstraps can't take that kind of weight sometimes and they break. It's not always that easy. There's people out here that are busting their butt in 2 jobs and they can't even get enough to live on. And then, God forbid that they are making it and something happened, they get a cancer diagnosis, they break a leg. I mean, just anything that puts them off of work, for any amount of time, and the next thing you know, they're homeless. Not everybody has family or friends they can fall back on.
That's right.
So it's really opened my eyes, and I highly suggest that everybody, because there is so much misinformation out there, that everybody take a fact-checking tutorial. I won't tell you which one to take. You can Google fact-checking tutorial and just pick one and start fact-checking. And I swear to you, it doesn't really take that long, and it gets easier the more you do it.
Yep.
If you don't, then you're just picking which things you like the best. You're just picking news by your bias. You're just picking what you want to believe, because there is so much misinformation out there. Take a fact-checking tutorial, and if that don't make you a Democrat, I'll be surprised. I really be surprised.
Oh my God! It was like she was living on another planet.
More of those.
There is hope.
The lady has landed on planet Earth. He is here.
Good
We
for
hope
her.
she enjoys her stay. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome back to reality.
Yeah.
And so, and she hit it too. So she's been doing some educating, right? Confirmation bias is huge, right? I only want to see things that prove that I'm right.
The feelings that I went through watching this, I went from like, bitch, shut the fuck up, to wow.
It's like she lived a whole life in this one little segment.
Just like how she's going around on that track, right? Keisha, she was walking, she had us going.
But sometimes that's what it takes, a hard walk.
But it gives me hope, though. It gives me hope.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use this as a media scholar. So I love some of the things she said, and fact checking is so important. But we also need to understand the difference between misinformation and disinformation, right? Because there's both out there, right? So misinformation, usually incorrect information spread by accident. Disinformation, which we get in the way May says it, hella lotta, is disinformation, and those are straight out lies. And those are some of the things that we've covered today. Something I haven't done yet in our group is promote my book. So I have a book that I put out in January. It took several years to write. This is just one portion of it. I still have another one, but it's Reclaiming Truth, AI's Role in the Disinformation Age. And some of the things in the chapters, it's short. I did it that way on purpose. But there are a lot of resources that I give people in here on how to do really good fact checking, how to really determine what's disinformation and misinformation. What are the things to look for? How AI is, obviously a big part of it today. But it is out on Amazon. So that is one resource. But as she said, Google it. There are a lot of sources out there.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to take the time. You have to fact check.
Reading is fundamental, I said.
Yeah.
You can't just listen to people talk. Even when you go to church, you can't just listen. You got to go and check.
Do your research.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I had never heard of a fact-checking tutorial. Like, I know that kids in school now get media literacy classes and training, but adults don't have that. And if you didn't grow up in the right advent of the internet, you kind of lost. So
I was a part of the generation that first started doing that. There was I forget the name of the website that it was, but it was like a whole database where we were only allowed to get anything off the internet through those scholarly articles. It was a whole thing, because if you couldn't just go on Wikipedia, because anybody could just post whatever on there. Maybe it's a little better, but at first when Wikipedia first came out, anybody could throw whatever, you could change anybody's stuff. So information was just, you had to really comb through it. And when the internet first started really getting advanced like that, I think right around my generation when I was in school, they really started teaching us how to kind of comb through information in the internet, even by checking the URLs of stuff. You know what I mean? Like .coms, you want to do like .orgs and whatever. So, but that's a literacy that didn't come until pretty much like I was like one of the first generations to really start even scraping the surface of that, you know?
It was
media
my
literacy.
son.
Yeah.
It was my son that said, "Mommy," when he went into his freshman year of college, he said, "Mommy, you need to start learning this." And I said, "Oh, he's a nice son. I'll go on and listen."
He's been right from time to time. Yeah, media literacy is what we're missing in our society, and critical thinking, actually. So education teaches
Not criticizing thinking.
not criticizing,
Good
critical
one.
thinking. Yeah, not listening to sound bites and sharing them, but actually doing the work. Yeah, and there are Snopes. They have some fact-checking sites, not just tutorials, but sites like Snopes, factcheck.org.
I don't know what a Snope is.
Snopes. It's just a place like you can subscribe and get emails, and Snopes will do research on some of the hot topics in the news and let you know what they've discovered. They do the research.
Oh,
and they'll let you know what is true and what is not.
Is that when my son be telling me that he lets AI do some of his checking?
AI is a good place to start. But you don't want to take that as gospel either. You still want to, if you use AI, this is my thing on AI, because obviously I talk about it. If you're going to use AI, this is a great place to start, but ask for sources.
Yes, 100%.
Ask
always.
for the source material, always.
No, so I could use Snopes instead.
But some people, that's what they like to use. And it's great, but get the sources. Go to the source.
And try to use more than one source, like at least 2, but ideally 3.
Yeah, cross referencing is like super kind of easy too.
And make sure that if it's a news source like AP or PBS or some of those that are nonprofits, you're going to get more truth-based information.
Yeah, I like PBS.
Yeah, PBS is great.
So nonprofits, those are the things that we want to look at. But she gives me hope.
Yeah.
Right.
And with the word hope there, because Kim, I've been kind of like calling bullshit on like the hope that people have been having a little bit, but that lady, actually, that's the type of hope that I can grasp onto and believe in and feel like, okay, this is something that we can work with. Some people just hoping that they don't get kidnapped on the street. I don't know if I can really help you with that one, but this is something that really feels like has traction and can actually change something.
I think which also means that we need to welcome them kind of back into the fold, right?
Oh yeah, she can come.
And not be critical. Because people do suffer from confirmation bias. That's a real psychological. Cognitive dissonance is another one. So there are psychological, parts of our psyche and personality that do affect what we believe.
Yeah.
So when I told you about my next door neighbor that didn't like talking about politics, and I asked, could I say some of the things she said on the show, and she said no. Now she calls me for my opinion and brings up politics. I'm like, what?
Andre, you have a new friend. You've deepened your friendship with your neighbor.
What's wrong?
That's good. That's another thing that gives me hope right there.
Yeah, for
community,
and
bridging that gap.
This is a true story.
Yeah, bridging that gap.
I'm not Republican, huh?
We the people unite. We the people unite. We have to think about that. We the people unite. It's not we the Democratic people, or we the we the blue, we the whatever. It's we the people. So it's everybody. But we need to unite.
But I haven't heard much about July 17th and a protest. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, it hasn't been, from what I could find, one of the bigger joint protests. It's been more of a good trouble is kind of what they're talking about. I think it's a 50-51 event, but it's definitely still worth, taking a look at. It's on a Thursday, which makes it hard for people. Right? That's tomorrow. Yeah. That's tomorrow. Yeah. So
Well,
midweek makes it hard.
You should post that video of that lady for tomorrow.
Yeah, good idea.
We'll make a short.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Katie has been wanting to do something for tomorrow, so I don't know, May, if she's reached out to you, but
well, that's the millennial part of it, working together.
Yeah, she said she wanted to go. It's my friend's birthday party tomorrow. I'm not sure if I like his birthday parties. They're always fun.
But I thought let's go ahead and end our live stream.
I have one thing I wanted to share.
Okay.
I found a poem, a little quick one that I wrote yesterday. I forgot I wrote this. It was actually about the show today. So
well, let's hear it.
I'm gonna call it. I don't know. It's actually untitled right now. I doodled it. It's like straight up doodled. All right. Don't get swept up in lies or caught by surprise. I promise you, it will be your demise. Better start believing or get to bobbing and weaving. Careful tripping because you will get caught slipping.
I like that.
Cute.
Very talented, Miss May. Very talented.
You gonna still know me when you get there. I'm gonna say, tell us, Andrea. You'll know me.
All right.
I'm gonna say, tell us, Andrea.
I'm gonna have to leave.
All right. Say bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for tuning in to We the People Unite, where truth has no age limit, and even the smallest voices speak loud. I'm Baby Kiki, one of many voices in this big, bold broadcast, from babies to boomers, and every truth teller in between. If today's episode made you laugh, think, or scream into a pillow, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a wake-up coup. Catch us Wednesdays and Fridays at 4:30 p.m. Pacific for more truth, resistance, and radical nap energy. This is our broadcast, our future, our fight. We the people unite. Truth, justice, and sippy cups for everyone. See you next time.
We the people unite.
Good show, ladies and gentlemen.